Okay, so this is not about doing another Rob Bell Numa DVD, even though he has got the same glasses as me. Someone suggested it might be a good idea to put together a little video clip about building and Chapel A. So Hannah's doing the filming and I'm going to do the talking. And I just want to say at the beginning that this stuff about a building is not about having a building. What I mean by that is not about having a building because other people have got one, or having one because it's really nice. It's about having a building so that we can more fully do the thing that I think God's calling us to do, which is serve in this community in Chapel Allerton, and having more opportunity to share our faith with the people who live around us. Over the past few years, we've really begun to realise that there's a really important shift we need to undertake, which is going from events, doing separate one-off things, to doing project stuff that we're doing all the time. The events we do are fantastic, and carols in the park with thousands of people there is brilliant, and the arts festival stuff every year is great. We get loads of people involved. But it's when we do the projects, the things week in, week out, then we've got time to get to know people, to serve them, and to share our faith in ways that I think will be really, really significant. You can see how the image of Chapel Allerton is really changing the profile of places. There's Mustard Pot that's cleaned up its act. Behind me there's Manhattan Bar just opened. We've got Image Curry House has now become Arty Curry House. They've changed their image. And we've got a phone and gadget shop over there. And it's interesting to see how all this change and all these things that are happening gets talked about. People share the news and it becomes the gossip of the day. And on the Chapel Allerton forums, everyone's talking about what's going on. So imagine if Chapel A had a profile like one of these places around here. How much people would speak about what we were doing. Not just about having a sign up with a building, but a building people were using and actively going in and out of, day in, day out, and talking about all the brilliant things that were going on at this place called Chapel A. So how many places do you think Chapel A does stuff in the course of an average year? I'll list them to you. We obviously use the school, go there on a Sunday morning and midweek church meetings and Sunday evenings. We also use the church office down the hill, and that's where Hannah and I work together. There's Chapel Allerton Methodist Centre, where all the kids' activities, Funky Friday, Toby Tuesday, youth group, that all happens. Over the road in the Methodist Church, where we've held interviews for the Youth Worker Post, we've had a church meeting in there and other things. There's the Queen's Arms up Harrogate Road, we've run alpha courses there, we do carols in the pub there, and of course there's Pete Yorish's 40th birthday party. Well, that wasn't really churchy, but that was in there. Moortown Baptist Church for carols in the park practices, for other meetings, for child protection training, that all happened in there. 7, the Arts Bar up the road, that's where Robin did the Glad You Asked evangelism course, where we had lunch for youth workers, where we wanted to hire the hall to show Rob Bell DVDs. Steinbeck Hall down the road, that's where the frontliners were based and they had their offices there. That's 8 buildings, 8 different buildings we have to use and organise and plan around to do our church activity. That's a lot. Okay. And you know as well that the spaces that we use currently, there's problems with those. In the winter the school is kind of badly heated and it's just not a great place for evening meetings or church meetings where voices can't get heard properly. And then we try and book at Moortown or the Methodist Centre, but they've got packed programmes and things going on and it's just not easy to do the things that we want to do. And here at the church office, well, come and see where Ash and Hannah work. So this is it. Hannah sits over there, I sit here. It's kind of a bit of a cosy little space. Really difficult to hold meetings, to get people to come here and try and reorganise stuff. We've got a loo, but there's no kitchen facilities, so we kind of just make do with a bit of table and a kettle. So it's just not great, and it limits all the things that we might want to do as a church. And I even think that worse than that, it limits what we think we might want to do as a church and the possibilities about the future. Churches have buildings, it's what they hold Sunday services in, which is fine. Churches have buildings to do that. But we know, don't we, that the church is not the building. As the old Sunday school talk goes, what is the church? The answer is it's the middle two letters. So the church is you are. You are the church. It's about people. So we know that it's not about buildings. But imagine if we didn't have any buildings to run, say, our young people's programs. That would absolutely devastate all the stuff that we do as a church together. And just take a look about what the Methodist Church does in this building in a given week. And here, this is the programme of activities that goes on in the school in a given week. In fact, it's outdated. There's even more things than that going on. So it makes me think, is it okay that we just use the buildings of other people, but say, oh, of course, Chapel A won't want to have a building itself? Is that fair? It's been so exciting to see all the change that's happened in young people's work, particularly since Hannah came in September. How young people have got involved and done more activity and more have been joined into the group, and that's ongoing project stuff. Come October, we hope that a CAP centre will open, and that again will be week in, week out, contact with the community, doing something practical and sharing faith. And just think what would happen if we got a building. We could have more young people in. They could have band practice. They could do IT stuff. Someone in Chapel A indicated that they want to train people who are new to this country to learn English, or just the regular stuff like mums and toddlers, parents and toddlers. That stuff really works. Serving the community and sharing our faith. And when this stuff begins to happen more, the point to realise is that Chapel A would change. But that difference, that change, is really good change. So what's the deal then? We're not looking at getting a building for Sunday services. We use a school, there are issues with using the school, but it's okay. What we are looking for is a building where we can run activities that serve the community and enable us to share faith. And it may be that this time, at the moment in the recession, would be a great time to do that, because commercial property prices have really fallen, interest rates are low if we borrow money towards it. So it may be an opportunity at this time. And as I say, it really isn't about getting a building for building's sake. I said in church recently that in some ways perhaps it's like Moses standing on the banks of the Red Sea wanting to cross into what God was promising. In some ways that was a risky future, an unknown future, and yet by doing that Moses and the people entered into so much more, and that so much more for Chapel A could be about service and sharing our faith. So what I want you to do is to think and pray and talk together, talk with the leaders, email people, come back with questions, raise concerns, but let's go through this and find out if this really is God's will for Chapel A. Because if it is, I think we need to embrace it and pursue the future that God is calling us to.